Hello guys, this is Modest Major here, bringing you some commentary over some Community Forge race gameplay. The score in the background is pretty much non-existent. It's more about the position that I come in, and of course, being a sponsored MLG Pro racer, I would bring you nothing less than the best, the first place, of course. I'm kind of tooting my own horn a bit there. Actually, I've been getting my butt whooped by Ubernick. To be honest, it's always depressing to lose to Ubernick. He's one person that I'd rather beat every single day of my life. This gameplay in particular is one where I edge him out by just a little bit, and it's a pretty darn exciting, fast-paced gameplay. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. You guys might remember that I did my initial first impressions of the starting race playlist, which, to be honest, by most people's estimations, was a complete and utter disappointment. They essentially used maps like Ragnarok, like Vortex, like Exile, and basically put checkpoints down and didn't really do much in terms of, you know, capitalizing on the benefits of having this Forge arsenal within Halo 4, where they could be a lot more imaginative, and it was just basically like racing around a circuit, and it wasn't very enjoyable, whereas I feel like this time they've actually nailed it. They've taken a lot of different aesthetics and backdrops and created a playlist that's actually really enjoyable to play. It has a lot more replayability, and is pretty darn enjoyable to say the least. This map in particular goes by the name of Cosmos, and they really utilize the sci-fi setting found on the Forge map Impact to the nth degree. I'm someone who just swoons over sci-fi being used well, and this map in particular just feels like you immerse yourself in it and you start to forget that it's actually being made out of Forge pieces. It becomes its own map, and I think that's really the mark of a good Forger, to say the least. I think one of the really inventive things that it does, and like I said, in terms of expanding replayability, is the fact that they have these diverging pathways where you can choose basically between a shortcut or a long cut. The long cut will be more safe, and it will probably get you to, you know, where you want to be in one piece, but the shortcut is a little bit faster, but it's more dangerous and there's more risks at stake. And as you play the maps, you start to realize which route is going to suit your playstyle, and you start to become better at taking those shortcuts, exploiting those shortcuts, and it really becomes an enjoyable experience. I think they've got an eclectic mix when it comes to difficulty ranges as well. You've got some maps that are really over the top, extreme. There's a lot of potential for you falling off the entire map and screwing up your life. And then the checkpoints can be really, really tough on them, where they just send you back absolutely miles. But then there's other races which are a little bit more basic and a little bit more, you know, easier to grasp. And as you play the playlist more, you'll understand which ones will become your favorite. For me, it more comes down to the actual themes, because I think some maps absolutely look incredible. And I've always thought with Halo 4 Forge, you know, the forging community has never really been that big within Halo 4, especially in comparison to Halo 3 and Halo Reach. If you looked up forging on Halo Reach on YouTube, the amount of series that were being done, the amount of contests that were being done on a regular basis, Forge was just constantly improving, constantly being utilized. And yeah, it's kind of a shame that that wasn't done so much in Halo 4, because even though there might be less options in certain instances, and I think a lot more people prefer what was available to them within Halo Reach's Forge Island, or was it Forge World? I always get confused between the two. But they improved what was available to them there. They enjoyed what was available to them there, but I will say that, like, stuff on this game really looks beautiful. There's a lot of really, really intriguing vistas, and the overall aesthetic has always impressed me more, to be honest. But I'm not completely sold on the playlist. You know, I'm not trying to wave the race flag and say, this is the greatest game type that's ever been conceived. Because to be honest, I've always been a really, really big fan of party-based race games. You know, games like Mario Kart, games like Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racing, games like Diddy Kong Racing, games like Lego Racers. I played these games to absolute death. And I think what a lot of these games had is they had something to mix up the gameplay from it becoming too similar to like a race simulation game. I think one of the problems within Halo 4 is that, in the regular race game type that is found within Halo, is that once you learn the courses, it becomes a little bit more of a test of patience. For me and Nick, for example, when we're racing, when one of us loses, it's usually because we lost concentration and we didn't concentrate on absolutely nailing the turn, because it can become a little bit repetitive at times. And I think what they could do is they could add in mechanics that would mix up the gameplay, make it a little bit more chaotic and enjoyable and replayable, without completely losing the tone and losing, you know, what made Halo Race great. You know, they could still stick to the Halo core themes and make it almost like a Halo party racer that was within, you know, Halo's own game, and I think it's very doable. And basically what I was thinking of is having custom power-ups be able to be picked up by racers, by mongooses. So stuff like the overshield could be absorbed by the mongoose, and your mongoose would become like potentially tougher, and could maybe, you know, if you hit other people with the overshield, it could hurt them, it could knock them over easier, and it was just more durable overall. Or maybe it would like instantly respawn you the second you fell off the map and not make you die, you know, because when you die on regular race, you take a really long time to come back up, at least within Halo 4's race. So that would be an interesting way of mixing up stuff. Stuff like the camo ability could add a lot more chaos in terms of, you know, your mongoose becomes completely invisible, you don't know where they are, you kind of don't know where yourself is, and it adds this element of like, oh my god, it's kind of like a power up, but at the same time it's a power down because you're losing track of where you are all the time, and it would just be quite enjoyable. And maybe stuff like a speed power up, maybe stuff like a damage boost. I was thinking, you know, in Halo 2 Master Chief Collection, stuff like the Gun Goose, maybe you could take away the Gun Goose ability as default, but when you pick up this power-up, it adds the Gun Goose turrets onto the Mongoose. I think stuff like that would make it more like it was a game within a game, more replayable, and more enjoyable overall, because I think that's my only problem with race, is sometimes when I learn the courses too many times, for a lot of players it becomes a matter of, you know, you look for another race course, you look into someone's Forge file share, and instead of, you know, like having this map that is absolutely perfect and replayable, I think the game mechanics aren't exciting enough all the time to make you be able to play one classic map again and again and again. At least from my perspective, you know. Usually how I find fun in races by finding new Forge races instead of, you know, playing these fan favorites again and again just because they're so enjoyable. But overall, I've enjoyed the Community Forge race playlist. I definitely think you should get on and give it a try. If you were looking for more from the original race playlist and you wanted them to be more experimental, hopefully these two gameplays I've shown will shed light on that and make it seem a little bit more fun. You know, it's been enjoyable for me. I definitely prefer it to BTB SWAT, which was out last week. I freaking hate BTB SWAT. But there we go. I hope you guys have enjoyed the commentary. I've been Modest Major. Thank you for watching. Peace out.